Spring into love with the Breaking Script podcast with Lala and Nini.
This is where we explore the glimmer-filled world of Hallmark movies and the occasional Asian drama.
So let's get this therapeutic adventure started.
Hi, this is Nini, and if you're new here, the Breaking Script podcast is hosted by sister-in-laws on a mission to spread joy and glimmers, which are the opposite of triggers, while offering ways to open your windows of tolerance through watching Hallmark movies. And Asian dramas are finally coming up soon. It is officially AAPI month, so very appropriate timing. We have 4 unique segments on our Breaking Script podcast that give you a guide to review, or what we like to call break script, with the healthy and unhealthy romantic and family relationships, as well as healthy and unhealthy behaviors in these movies. So with a touch of mental health advocacy and satire, we like to sprinkle in terms from polyvagal theory, neuroscience, and trauma-informed positive psychology, etc., 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 to encourage mindfulness, inner healing, soul care, and we even talk about different somatic resources that have been helpful to us. And some of our most popular episodes have been the ones where we talk about covert abuse recovery or narcissistic abuse recovery. And yes, believe it or not, you can find these topics in Hallmark movies. But we don't take ourselves seriously around here. If you're on a healing or recovery journey, we want you to know that you're not alone and encouraging along the way, just giving you something light and fluffy to listen to. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you want to go back and listen to our 10-minute trailer episode where we talk about fluffy eggs. That's where we also explain our 4 unique segments of AIGOO, what's love got to do with it? Our second segment is AIYA, don't go chasing waterfalls, where sometimes the omo nardar comes out. That's the narcissistic radar. And the AIGOO OI with the poodles already. And our last segment is Jia You, piting happily ever after. Again, if you don't know what those are, you want to hear the origin stories, go back and listen to that 10-minute trailer episode. We usually start with a relaxing audio spa-like recap so you can follow along even if you haven't watched the movie. And then usually my sister-in-law Lala, who hosts with me, does the Boba ratings. She'll introduce those. And today, instead of Lala, in her stead, in her place, I have one of the most special guests that will ever be invited on our podcast. Lala is totally missing out today. But before I introduce our extra special guest today, we have some announcements. Huge news. Drum roll, please. Well, first of all, happy May. Hallmark is doing a countdown to summer, but I refuse. I'm not there yet. I am hanging on to spring as long as I possibly can because summer in Kansas City, is hot and humid. It's not as bad as subtropical Taiwan in July, which I've been there. I was like, nobody come within 6 feet of me. It's hot, sticky. I feel like I need gills to breathe. But even in KC, even though it's not that bad, I still feel like I need gills to breathe because this LA girl just still isn't used to it. Give me dry heat and ocean over humidity and being landlocked any day, except for the fact that Kansas City is so family friendly and beautiful. I still love it. So countdown to summer. I'm in denial. It makes the year go by so much quicker because then Christmas in July is around the corner, which means that countdown to Christmas is right around the corner from that. And it's just too soon. So what is the huge news? Drumroll, please. 3 wiser men and a boy has been officially confirmed. After all this silence and denials, the sequel to 3 Wise Men and a Baby, which premiered in 2022 and broke all kinds of Hallmark Universe records and movie for TV records, is confirmed, which stars Tyler Hynes, Andrew Walker, and Paul Campbell, written by Paul Campbell and Kimberly Sested, who are brilliant comedic actors in the Hallmark universe, but also brilliant writers. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. This must be like the big premiere, either like Thanksgiving week or first week of December. I don't know. I cannot believe they already introduced it. I'm so excited. And I forgot, I had this in my notes from last week. Lacey Chabert and Christopher Polaha are starring in a movie called The Christmas Quest, which is set in the location of Iceland. And Polaha and Chabert in a movie in Iceland is like huge. I can't believe they made these 2 huge announcements already. We're only in May. But here we are, already getting excited for Countdown to Christmas this year. And in Iceland, I can't tell if it's going to be an ice castle or ice hotel movie. which leads me to my next announcement. Are you ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this. We are bringing back Boba Breaks. 2 episodes of Boba Breaks will be premiering in May on the Breaking Script podcast. The first one, or I don't know which order it's going to come in. One of them is going to be covering the different Ice Castle movies. I feel like every couple of years there was a different Ice Castle or Ice Hotel movie they usually film, because they usually film in Canada. It's in the Ice Hotel in Quebec. It is beautiful. It is on my bucket list. And by the way, May 4th, this weekend, Winter Castle is my favorite of the Ice Hotel movies, so you can catch that this weekend and then come back and listen to our Boba Breaks. But Lala will not have seen these movies, and she has to rate them. And Boba Breaks is where we are basically doing the planning for our, 2025, 2026 premiere of the Breaking Bread show with Lala and Nini, where basically we just want to get paid to travel and eat together. And so we're going to talk about the places we want to go and where we want to eat. So we'll also have a Boba Break covering the AAPI movies in 2021 and 2022. There was a total of 4 movies that had Asian Americans or Asian Canadian representation. So anyway, so exciting so far in the Breaking Bread show. We have hot chocolate in Vail from Winter in Vail. We have lobster ice cream from the Blind Date Book Club. We have ziplining over Niagara, or Lala might not want to do that, so it's going to be Niagara Lala's way, since that is her stomping grounds, hometown. From Falling in Love with Niagara. And then of course I mentioned I want to go to an ice hotel. I just think it's amazing. So that was a lot of announcements. Here we go. Today's guest is one of the 6 most important people in my life, and that is a fact that will never change. This girl is known for her determination and grit. In fact, one of her first words when she started choosing a one word for the year was perseverance. I think she might have been 7 or 8 years old. She is a very caring HSP, empath, kind, and loves to spread love. In fact, when she was younger, she must have been 3 or 4 years old at the time, and for a good solid year, she would write "God is good" on everything. Little cards. She would color them. She would leave them on people's cars. She would hand them out. She put them in all cards, whether it was birthday or Christmas or teachers at the end of the year. It was all over the place. She is full of grace, a talented artist and musician and performer. She loves to write songs and stories in her free time and loves to play and use her imagination and be outdoors and in water. She is by far not the first child in her family, but will often take responsibilities on like she is the first child, because she and I are learning about circles of responsibility together. If you haven't already guessed, you've heard us talk about her before. Without further ado, I introduce to you my daughter, Nana. And yes, these are real nicknames we go by. I'm Nini, my sister-in-law is Aunt Lala, and today you get to meet my mini-me, Nana. So welcome back to a special episode of the Breaking Script podcast today with Nini and NaNa. Oh wait, I almost forgot. We're trying to rush this. It's before bedtime. We need to do the audio spa recap first. So I'm going to make it shorter tonight so that you can get to hearing Nana. And because of that, I decided to shake it up a little bit and thank good Lord that Wikipedia has a short plot of Winter in Vail. So today's episode is not written by, or episode recap is not written by Nini and her AI. It is written by Wikipedia. Today's movie is Winter in Vail, which premiered on the Hallmark channel on January 4th of 2020, starring Lacey Chabert and Tyler Hynes. And Lala, I cannot believe this was going to be your first Lacey Chabert movie, and you missed it. You're going to have to rewatch it or something, or watch it, not rewatch it. You haven't watched it yet. Okay. Whew. Moving along. Chelsea Whitmore is a Los Angeles-based event planner who, after missing out yet again on an anticipated vice president promotion, decides to quit her job and move to Vail, Colorado. Here, she recently inherited the chalet of her late Uncle Grady, who, until his death, was a well-respected pastry chef, famous for his apple strudel recipe, which, apparently, Chelsea didn't even know he was a pastry chef. Anyways, she was once very close with him, but lost contact after her career took off. she decides to stay in town temporarily while finding her next career step and possibly deciding to sell the chalet. Say that 10 times fast. Chelsea soon finds out that the chalet needs urgent repair and hires the local contractor, Owen Becker, played by Tyler Hynes, to help her. While he is busy remodeling the house, she gradually falls in love with the beauty of the small town, a historic alpine village that is celebrated by visitors for its Bavarian heritage. She becomes friends with Carl Becker, Owen's father, and owner of a Bavarian restaurant called Edelweiss. Back in the day, the restaurant was frequently visited due to Grady's apple strudel on the menu. After his death, Carl can no longer offer customers the signature dish and now struggles to compete against new restaurant chains run by non-locals and celebrity chefs. While repairing the house, Chelsea grows closer to Owen and learns that he once had a promising architecture career ahead of him, but ultimately decided to stay in the small town to help his father's business. He takes her exploring in the many scenic spots of town and teaches her the importance of small town values. One day, she finds the recipe of her uncle's apple strudel and is successful with Owen in this really romantic setting in recreating the signature dish. Now that the apple strudel can be offered in the restaurant again, she decides to create a buzz by organizing the so-called, wait for it, Strudel Fest. Carl and Owen are impressed by her event planning skills, and the organization runs smoothly with lots of help from people in the town. However, one day her former colleague Vienna North suddenly shows up on her doorstep to, on behalf of her boss Trish Simmons, offer her the vice president position. Even though by now she is well integrated within Vail with her next event planning gig in town already lined up. But she accepts the offer, reasoning that this offer is what she worked towards for years. Back in Los Angeles, however, she soon realizes how much she misses both Vail and Owen, and ultimately, in the last 2 minutes of the movie, returns to Vail where she finally becomes romantically involved with Owen, and they kiss. The end. This is the part of the episode where we rate today's Hallmark movie out of Bobas, because we love Bobas. We have 4 different categories. First, we rate the writing. Say that 10 times fast. We rate the writing out of 10 Bobas, and characters out of 10 Bobas, laughs, and overall out of 10 Bobas. So, Nana?
Yes.
Let's talk about the writing. What did you give the writing? How good was the story?
I feel like the story was pretty good, but I gave it a 9 because sometimes it was a bit confusing, I feel like.
Wow, that's a very high score. If you had to rate between this, Falling in Love with Niagara, and Blind Date Book Club, which one was the best one out of those 3?
I feel like I liked Falling in Love with Niagara because I like to see her get out of her zone. And
out of her comfort zone?
Yeah, out of her comfort zone.
Wow, that's very good. So that was even better writing than this one?
I think so.
Okay.
Sometimes this had confusing timing.
Oh, confusing timing. Very good. Very good. Well, I actually gave it a 7 because Blind Date Book Club got a very low score for me. And for some reason, since it was the first Spring into Love movie, I keep comparing to Blind Date Book Club. Let's move on, though, shall we? To characters out of 10 Bobas. How many Bobas did you give it?
I gave this one also a 9.
Wow.
I liked most of the characters, but I feel like Molly was kind of random.
Okay, well, you don't know this, but Aunt Lala and I picked this because Tyler Hynes was in it. You know, the guy that was in Three Wise Men and a Baby, and It Was Always You is our favorite one. You should see Nana's face right now. Such a cute smile. But you also watched one with Lacey Chabert in it. There was a different one. Do you remember the one night you were so traumatized by the way home that you couldn't move, and so you just watched the next movie? What was that one called? It was about chocolate, right? Love.
Oh, yeah.
Romance and chocolate.
Yes, I think that was it.
So did you prefer her character in that movie or this one?
I think I liked her character in this one better.
I agree. Well, I gave them an 8.3. It's one of the top 5 Hynes movies for me. That's what they call Tyler Hynes fans, is Hynes. That's hilarious. Okay, so then laughs out of 10 Bobas. What did you give this one? How funny was it?
I don't remember laughing a bunch, so I gave it a 6 because
Good for
I
you.
don't really remember that
Yeah,
much.
it was like middle of the road, like 5. I think the funniest part was the timing of how Tyler Hynes would deliver lines. And that was about it. Like when the water was like in his face, or like when he would respond to Lacey. Okay, so then overall, out of 10 bobas,
I probably gave it an 8 or 9.
oh, that is pretty good. That's pretty high. Even though the cheese factor was high. Okay, you've seen a few Hallmark movies now.
They're all cheesy.
Okay, so out of the cheese factor, out of 10 bobas, how cheesy was this on the cheesy scale? She's thinking real hard.
Yeah, I'd say 8 or 9.
Oh my goodness.
It was pretty cheesy.
I feel like you gave it such a high score. I gave this one a 7 because you know why? It's like the perfect Hallmark movie. Oh, you need to tell everyone. What were you doing while you were watching this movie? Because it proves my point.
Oh, I was folding laundry. I folded like 5 baskets of laundry while doing this.
It was amazing. The towels are perfectly folded now. They've been sitting in a pile for weeks and weeks. So this was the perfect, that's how I rate Hallmark movies. If I can put it in the background and it makes time pass faster, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Okay. Now, moving right along. We have our unique 4 segments of our breaking script breakdown. Our first one out of 4 is AIGOO. What's love got to do with it? Do you remember what I means in Chinese? I. Oh, this is embarrassing. I failed as a mother. It means love. To love or not to love. What's love got to do with it? This is a segment where we talk about glimmers and what we love, where we break down the romantic and family relationships. So what did you love most? What did you write down? By the way, I have to say,
Yes.
I actually printed out our Breaking Script podcast movie watching journal. If you go down into our show notes, we have a Stan store where you can download for free the journal. The Way Home journal is a little bit more. Because if you would like us to continue, we need some dollars to keep going. But that's all I did. I printed it out for Nana, and she followed right along. Yep. We did it in like, the 3 minutes before we started recording. Because homework took a lot longer than we thought, and we got to get to bed. So, what's love got to do with it? What did you write down?
Well, I feel like every Hallmark movie has its signature. And sometimes it gives me the warm fuzzies, and it's always cheesy. Let's just say it has that signature cheesy end. All Hallmark movies have that. So at the end when Chelsea is sitting on the deck, after Owen thought she had left, he was searching around the house, found her on the deck, and it was snowing. It was like this perfect moment, and I was like, oh, it's coming. The kiss is coming. And then they're talking about the stars. And then Chelsea brings up the farmer boy and the goddess and saying, do you think they love each other? Do you think they were connected a long time ago or something? And he's like, yeah. And then they kiss.
And that was the feels and glimmers for you? This girl's talking with her hands and all. We need to have video for this.
It's a cheesy Hallmark ending.
Perfect. Okay. That's your glimmers. Well, I think for me, you have to guess what the biggest glimmer in this movie was for me. Because remember I told you this was the movie out of all Hallmark movies was the first one that inspired Boba Breaks, which is what's going to be the planning. It's like production planning for our Breaking Bread with Lala and Nini show, in which we've talked about you could be like the showrunner or producer.
Yeah.
Because she wants to come with us. She is my daughter.
I want to eat food.
Travel and eat food. What's better?
Yes.
Right? And someone can pay us for it.
Delicious.
So what do you think was my biggest glimmer in this movie? It's like what brings glimmers are the opposite of triggers. You know how like triggers make you like makes you feel yucky. And glimmers are like that kind of feeling. Like,
I think maybe
lights and
when
glitter.
they made the strudel together.
Close, because it's something to do with food.
Yeah, it's something to do with the strudels.
No, it's something to do with food, because strudels are not my favorite.
We have like a bunch of frozen strudels in our freezer, and we still haven't eaten them all.
I forgot about
And
those. They're not these kinds of strudels by any means.
Yeah.
They're like really cheap. Anyway,
Flaky.
yeah. Well, I do like flaky crust, but we digress. Focus. What do you think was my biggest glimmer? What did they eat or drink?
Oh,
Do you
hot cocoa.
Yes!
With the real
With gold flakes?
They're like, real gold? She's like, yep.
And I kind of want to like I think it's called cross-country skiing. We've
That would
never
be
done
fun.
that. You like outdoors things and you
Yes.
love being in water.
Yes.
How do you feel about skiing? Would you prefer to
Yes.
ski or snowboard?
Ski.
Does that look like fun? I exercise so it doesn't like take it out of me. Anyway, that is what I love. I love the scenery. I definitely after
it
watching
was very
this.
pretty.
Do you want to visit Vail after watching this?
How far away is Vail?
Did you know that Adventure Ridge is a real thing? We drive through Vail every time we go to California to
We
see
do?
family. Yeah, through the mountains. So that Adventure Ridge is a real place, and it's even open in the summer. I looked it up, and they have miniature golfing and a roller coaster.
I want to go miniature golfing.
See? Isn't this amazing? Okay. Next. Actually, wait. What am I talking about? We just talked about glimmers. We haven't talked about the family and romantic relationships here. Like, we like to point out, because, a lot of the cheesy, there's some really unhealthy, unrealistic things. Let's point out the good things, because I was really surprised when I thought about it. This movie had a lot of really good things to point out.
Like Owen and his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Owen, I feel like he stepped a little out of his circle of responsibility because he kind of like gave everything up. He like
Patting myself on the back. This girl's bringing up circles of responsibilities is what we used to talk about, boundaries.
Yeah, and he was
good.
like giving up everything for his dad just to see his dad be happy.
Yeah, but then
Then
his dad encouraged him, right? So it was healthy.
Yeah.
He only did it for a time to help out his dad when he needed it most, and then he went back, and his dad actually encouraged him to.
Yeah.
That's uber healthy. That doesn't always happen. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud. You're really good at this. Okay. But not only did he encourage him to go pursue his passion, he even stepped up and told him, like, bro, you gotta step up your game and go after your woman and be clear.
I know, I was like...
Be a man. Right? Like, be assertive, dude. Okay. Next, what did you think about Chelsea and her relationship, like, with her job, her boss, and her friend? What did you think about all that?
Well, I feel like her friend, she was pushing her to, like, in a good way. And then her boss, I felt like there was some unhealthy...
Oh, that's the next
stuff
segment?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll save that for the next segment.
Yeah.
But her friend was supportive, right?
Yeah, she was pretty supportive.
I couldn't really tell if her friend came because she was, like, wanting to push her to come back to work for her, or if it was healthy, like, let's just see where you're at.
Yeah, I'm
was
pretty
confusing,
sure it
huh?
was kind of like she didn't want to get mad at her boss because of her friend.
This is true. Okay. All right. Well, what did you think about Chelsea's relationship with Owen?
Well, at first it kind of got off to, a rocky start.
He was rude.
So was the guy in Falling in Love in Niagara.
Oh, this is true.
He broke up with his ex and started singing sad love songs again.
We really need video for this. Okay.
Spilled his coffee.
Wow, you're really good at this. Yeah. But I feel like this is a thing. Hallmark, are you trying to make a point, like, fall in love with the dude that's teasing you?
Yeah, it's like
what?
it's like the person who's teasing the girl or the girl who makes the bad impression on him is always ends up with him. Like it never ends. It's
Okay.
just the same thing.
But I am actually really glad that Owen let her go. Like when she
Yeah.
got the job, he didn't want to make things more complicated for her, and he didn't try to convince her to stay, because if you have to convince someone to decide, then you have to continually convince them to stay, and that is not healthy. So I think that was actually a really good thing. All right, well, such a feel-good movie. You know what? It was such a feel-good movie, like everybody ended up with someone, which is a little too fast and too like, how does everyone end up with someone?
Owen's dad ended up with another woman, and then Chelsea ended up with someone, except Chelsea's friend. She didn't end up with someone.
Oh, you're right. But even Molly and Rob ended up together.
Oh yeah, that was kind of weird.
Chelsea's friend. We got to find someone for Chelsea's friend. Okay, I am surprised how much we had in this segment. Usually the longest segment is the AIGOO Away with the Poodles already. But let's move on to the AIYA, Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. And sometimes this is where the Omo Nardar comes out. Those are actually probably our most popular episodes for some reason, is when we talk about narcissistic behavior. But this is where we talk about unhealthy behaviors and coping mechanisms. You had something you put down here.
Yes, I was actually thinking about her boss was something that really stuck out. Her boss was, like, she kept begging her to come back, like she was out of her circle of responsibility, and she was, like, crossing boundaries and wasn't honoring her decisions.
Good job. She kept pushing her, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it made Chelsea go back, but it's good that she woke up and made her decision. Like, she tried it, and then she got extra clarity, like, there's no way I'm going back. And it gave her confidence, right, to go back on her own. And actually, I mean, this is besides the point, but did you know that when women are in an abusive relationship, the statistic is they go back 7 times before they have clarity or confidence to walk away the last time. It's not just women in, like, marriages, but it's, like, even other types of abuse. It could be in a work situation. Actually, it could even be, like, unfortunately, a school situation, friend situation.
I gotta say, Chelsea loves her hot chocolate, and she loves the stars.
I love hot chocolate, and I love stars. However, I have to say, I have never been able to, oh, is this your next segment? You talk about stars at some point, I can't remember. Or that was your glimmer.
Yeah, when
But I
they
can
start
never
talking
really
about
see-
the farm boy and the goddess.
Yeah, I can never see constellations. Can you?
I cannot find the Big Dipper or the
Oh,
Little
I can
Dipper.
do Little Dipper and Big Dipper, and that's
I
it.
can't find it.
I can never. Everyone's
It
like, "Do you
just
see
looks like-
Orion?" I'm like, no.
It just looks like a bunch of dots in the sky to me.
Oh,
I don't memorize scarred constellations.
I know, but it's so fun, and I wish I could. Stargazing just sounds amazing, but
Well, watch 30 minutes before the solar eclipse.
That
You'll
was really fun.
find a couple of planets shining brightly.
Was that fun?
Yes.
You'll remember that, huh?
Yes.
Core
it just
memory.
looked like a ball of cheese. Just being honest here. Just looked like orange cheese.
It looked like orange cheese. Okay.
Yes.
Well, coming back to, I had this huge epiphany because last week when Aunt Lala and I did Falling in Love with Niagara, there was so much that we picked apart in that movie.
Oh my.
Like, so many unhealthy
You guys are
things
detectives.
that we talked about. Aunt Lala's
True
ratings are really
detectives.
low compared to yours. Yours were pretty high.
Yeah.
I had this huge epiphany. I was thinking about it on the way to the senior farewell breakfast. Tears. But I was thinking about why I loved Falling in Niagara so much. Like, I loved the movie. I actually love Falling in Love with Niagara like 10 times more than Blind Date
Really?
Book Club. Do
Yeah,
you
the
remember
Blind
what
Date
happened
Book
after
Club,
Blind Date Book Club?
I didn't really like the position Elizabeth was in. I felt like some of it was kind of awkward. I definitely liked Falling in Love with Niagara better.
Do you remember what happened after Blind Date Book Club? What you do? You literally fell over on the couch and wiggled off because you were so miserable. You said that was the worst Hallmark movie ever.
That was a sad Hallmark movie. That was
Did you feel like you wasted your life? Time is a
definitely
life is
wasted
a tough
my
time.
time.
Anyway.
I was like, oh, it's Elizabeth. She's probably in a good movie. This movie sucks.
Oh, my goodness
I'm like,
gracious.
oh goodness, this is an interesting movie.
Well, I loved Falling in Love in Niagara and Winter in Vail because it made me want to go travel there.
I know, I really want to go like on like that zip line that goes across like the entire landscape for like a couple of minutes.
Are we going to try to convince Aunt Lala to go with us?
Yes.
You should see her face, Aunt
I'm
Lala.
usually scared of heights, but I really want to do this.
See, she is too.
really
Maybe you
wanna
guys could
do
do it together.
this.
I know. So it makes me so, like, I love those movies. And I want to say, this is a disclaimer here, because I hear a lot of people that listen to Deck the Hallmark podcast, they'll ask, like, why are you bothering to do this if you like to pick apart the movies? Just because I'm picking a part of the movie doesn't mean I don't love the movie. I love the movie. And I also love picking apart the movie. I love breaking the script with the movies. So this was my huge epiphany. There was so much in the, don't go chasing waterfalls for falling in love with Niagara. And I can pick out unhealthy behaviors in someone, but it doesn't mean I don't like them.
Yeah, they're never...
Actually, it means that if I love you enough, then I can be honest with you and tell you about your unhealthy behaviors, right? It was a huge epiphany that I had, because I have that same relationship with the movies as I do with people that I love.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we love the movies, even though we're picking them apart. Okay. Well.
Good enough to tell the producers.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
Let's move right along. Next is AIGOO OWT the Poodles already. This is where we talk about plot holes, continuity issues, the wait, what, and what we didn't like.
I can barely remember the people's names. I asked my mom for Owen's name, Chelsea's name, and Molly's name. I didn't even know Rob was a name.
They weren't memorable enough, huh?
No,
Do you
I couldn't remember anyone's name.
Do you remember the characters in It Was Always You?
It Was Always You.
It's another Hynes movie that has the character from When Calls the Heart. I put you on the spot. You just said it earlier, but you forgot.
I did.
You remember it because her name's Elizabeth. Because it's from When Calls the Heart. She's Elizabeth in When Calls the Heart and in It Was Always You.
I don't remember It Was
the
Always
one with the
You.
tree house.
Tree.
What are you talking about? It's your favorite one.
Treehouse.
Oh my goodness. Okay. They eat the oysters, the raw oysters. They're planning a wedding. I had this huge realization that a lot of Tyler Hynes movies, I don't like event planning movies.
I know, it's always like
this was
in love with Niagara. Like, she was
planning a wedding.
Yeah, and she wasn't like spontaneous, and then her ex broke up with her because of it. And then she sees a guy sitting on a bench, apparently falls in love with him. And then in this movie, she what was I gonna say?
In this movie, she wasn't as rigid. Chelsea wasn't as rigid as she usually is in this movie, because a lot of Hallmark movies, it's like they're trying to say that these women that are organized and like to be planned and scheduled need to go travel somewhere to become free spirits and more adventurous. But listen, people, planning and organization is essential. I get getting out of your comfort zone, but like, stop attacking the list making. We can be spontaneous within our listing. I feel attacked. But sometimes, don't get me wrong, there are times where I throw out the list and the schedule altogether. So
sometimes you need to do that. You're too like strict. You're like, no, there's no time for that. There's no time for this. No time for you.
That's right. We got to be less rigid. Get out of your comfort zone. Welcome the whimsy. Okay. Well, I felt like it was kind of interesting. Here are the things that I picked apart. You ready? So remember the part where Chelsea made lists of like what needed to be done in the house?
Oh yeah, they were like, oh look,
that was
this
comedic.
Is so helpful. Okay, that part was really funny. I forgot about that. He's like, oh look at this. You want to see it? He's like, nah, I'm good. He's like, this is so helpful right now. And then he like took it. I can imagine him taking it and ripping it into 4 pieces and then dropping it on the ground and then just walking away. I wish he had done that. Oh, that would have been so funny.
You're right. He should have done that. After
so
she turned
funny.
around, he just ripped it up and throws it down.
Yeah, I totally looked over it.
Well, here's the problem: is she said she made a list in order of importance, like the priority of things that need to get done
like
first. Which,
floor is,
if you're not a contractor, like, I get she's an event planner, but you might not have the expertise to know what needs to get done first. Like, but also, she said she did it in order of importance and also flow charts by room, which I was like, oh my gosh, that's totally something I would do. But then she tells the guy when they're walking away, oh, and it's alphabetized. Sister.
Yeah.
If it's in order of importance or
that
by
doesn't make
rooms, it
sense.
cannot be alphabetized. Okay. Second thing. When they're in that gondola, which I think is really funny, a lot of these movies, they get in some type of, like, the gondola that goes up. Like in Falling in Love in Niagara, they're in the Ferris wheel.
Oh,
it feels very the same. Like the same
it's like
scene.
It's that like that one scene where it just sticks with you every single movie. It's like something that's so similar in every Hallmark movie.
It's true. There's a lot of them.
It's like, wait, did I see this somewhere? Where did this come from?
Yeah, I've seen. It's deja vu, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what?
She says she works for an event planning business, but she says that she works in a skyscraper. Listen, you might not know this, but in Los Angeles, if you were in New York, you're working in Manhattan, yes, you probably have an event planning business that's in a skyscraper. In Los Angeles, highly, highly unlikely that you have an event business in a skyscraper. Okay, this really bothered me. You ready? I have another one.
Yeah.
This is usually my longest segment.
Yes.
So when they're making the strudel together and it's like all the feels and they're like, I can't remember which one of it said, they're like, okay, now all we need to do is fill it, roll it, bake it, and then it's like there's a rhythm. What would you say next?
So,
Fill it, roll it, bake it, and then what would you say?
Eat it.
Thank you! Are we the same person?
No.
You are my mini.
I went, no.
They said strudel.
Oh, yeah, they said it at the same time.
It was
and they
so
looked at each other
awkward.
and they went,
But why strudel? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's either fill it, roll it, bake it, eat it, or fill it, roll it, bake it, mark it with the B. Put it in the oven for baby and me.
No.
Okay, never mind. Well, eat it. Eat it makes sense.
Yeah,
This
eat it
doesn't make
makes
sense.
sense. Strudel, just saying strudel. Looking at each other for a long period of time and then saying, waiting
Yeah.
for the other person to say it, then it's your turn. Strudel.
It's ridiculous. For an uncle that owned a restaurant, especially a struggling restaurant, and just one restaurant, and it looked rather small.
Yeah.
That was
they
an
said it was, like, the
awfully
best.
large chalet that he owned. That chalet, I would like to know how much. I love looking at real estate. It had to have cost millions. That's a very large chalet. Anyway,
want to go
that's all I
visit
want to say.
that chalet.
Okay.
It's like,
I understand that, just so you know, in Vail, that Adventure Ridge is real, but Strudelfest is not. Fun fact, Strudelfest is a real thing in European countries.
really?
Yeah, there's a lot of European countries that actually have Strudelfest, which they
Wait.
did mention in the movie, but it's not a real thing in Vail, Colorado. In
Vail,
Croatia.
Colorado.
Yeah, that's where they were. That's why I'm saying that's why we drive through it every time on the way to California.
I didn't know it was in Colorado.
That's why I'm saying we can go there. You want to go there the next time we drive through? Okay. So in Croatia, they actually had a Strudelfest that had the longest strudel. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Well, dang. But why
So,
would you? How
but
thick is it?
Do a different
Tastes
fest.
good.
Give me a different food. Why would I've never had a strudel with apples and raisins, and I
do
thank
not want to eat it. Raisins are like the cucumbers. Are like pickles. Pickles are mutated cucumbers.
you. Mutant.
And yes, they are mutated. They have those bumps, those little round bumps. And then you have the raisins, dried up, beaten grapes
Okay. All right.
with sweeteners.
That was unexpected. You really need video for this. I just wanted to have a different food, which leads us to the next segment, which is Jia You Fighting. Can you say?
Fighting.
It's like it's with a P.
Fighting.
It's a P.
Ooh.
Fighting.
I said fighting.
Can you say
Fighting.
Jia You?
Jia You.
Very
Fighting.
good. Jia You Fighting.
I
Happily
like
ever
saying
after.
fighting.
My children do not know very many
I
Mandarin
keep
words, so
forgetting
we're
them.
learning here. So now,
knowledge in my head.
this is what we think happens after the movie and who we are rooting for.
Well, I feel like they'll be a good couple, but only if they let some things go. Like, Owen, he kind of stepped back into his circle of responsibility, and Chelsea, she's starting to be a little more spontaneous, but I feel like they both need to loosen up a little more and stop with the dramatic entries. Like,
Dramatic entries?
yeah, it's like she was right there. She didn't even text him. She didn't even call him at the end of the movie when she was on the deck and it was snowing.
Oh, yeah, and he just walks in.
Yeah, and
that was
he's
weird.
like, Chelsea. He walks through the entire house. And, oh, yeah.
But she wasn't supposed to be there. Why would he be
know.
saying Chelsea? Oh, this is the Oi with the Poodles.
And even, like, the sign was there for sale.
Yeah,
It was
made no
there.
sense.
And, like, what if someone else was in the house? Boy, you'd be in big trouble. Especially if the door was, I almost said locked. But you can't get in if it's locked.
That's why it doesn't make any sense. Oh my goodness. Well, I think they should somehow work together and go on adventures together because they just need to up level or give the Strudelflex a glow up and turn it into a night market. Like the 626 night market. Oh, you were too young. You didn't get to go. Night market is like the they had it in California, but they fashioned it after the Taiwanese night markets where you go and there's just so much yummy food to eat.
Oh, what was it called?
We got the potato thing. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember that. But what was the movie? Royal Treatment.
Oh, on Netflix?
Yeah.
That had the guy from Aladdin.
Yeah, and like at night, he was told that the people there were dangerous, like in the alley.
Yeah.
But like at night, they started like dancing and stuff, and they did their like traditional dance, and they had a lot of food like on kebabs. Remember that?
No.
And then they gave out like free ice cream. You don't remember?
See, it shouldn't be Strudelfest. It should be a night market. But make it a night market, but a Christmas market. But a Christmas market with night market level foodie scene. Oh.
This is
She has
totally,
her finger up in the air. She has a light bulb moment.
This is totally unrelated.
Oh. Okay.
But, so remember when she first came and the heating was broken, right?
Uh-huh.
She said she was freezing cold. So there are two moments. One, she took off her jacket to try to start a fire. She took off her jacket. You don't even know if there's gonna be a fire yet. So why would you take off your jacket and let all the heat flow away into nowhere? And then it's just cold again. And then she walks outside where it's even colder. Why would you do that? I mean, it would be absurd if she walked out there without her jacket. All of a sudden, like, she walks outside and she has her jacket on. Like, when did she do that? When did she have time?
This is so
She
unexpected. Now you see why Oi with the Poodles already is our longest segment. Yeah, it just keeps coming. But we love the movies. Doesn't mean we don't love the movies. We still love the movies.
Yes, I just like.
You were really good at this. Did you have fun?
Yes.
You're one of our best guests.
Yay!
We've only had 3.
Oh my gosh. We should have our dog as the next guest.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yes.
Actually, you can hear her sometimes in the background of my
Oh, yeah?
summaries because she
You
lays
good
at my
girl.
feet while I do summaries. Anyways, do you have any other final thoughts? What's your favorite Hallmark movie so far? Do you have one? I didn't
Wait, you
prep her.
just said that it was. What was it?
But you don't remember it. So on the spot right now, is there one that you remember that is your favorite?
Out of those 3 is probably Falling in Love with Niagara, because those are the only ones I can remember right now.
Recently.
I mean, if we're counting The Way Home, that
Out of the ballpark.
unexplainable.
How much you love it?
It's aggravating. It's just, what happens? Why is Colton alive? Like, they didn't confirm his death to his family?
This girl.
Like the police were called and everything. Oh yeah, he just walks out of his coffin
So, do you want
and
to
says, "Hello, family."
do you want to be a guest with me and Aunt Lala?
Yeah.
When we're gonna do the Way Home Just Theories episode to debrief.
I have theories.
I can't believe I didn't get any of this on video. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. Don't worry, Nana will be back. If you haven't seen the movie yet, Winter in Vail is streaming now at Hallmark Movies Now, but also it will be airing on the Hallmark Channel again tomorrow, Friday, May 3rd at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. And thanks for breaking script with us. Please share this episode on your socials and tag at the Breaking Script Podcast. Follow and hit that notification bell button so you never miss an episode. And if you haven't yet, please rate and review an Apple Podcast so we can spread more Hallmark glimmers with the world.